Hi there, welcome back. I am on a new signature, trying to get this album completed. So I have used this beautiful teal piece as my base. So it's going to be 9.5 by 9.25. And then on the bottom of this piece was this strip. So I've actually cut it. I like this element here to make a long, slender pocket down here. And then I used, I don't know if you have any of this, it's called Wink of Stella. It's a little brush tip, and I went in and touched it up here on a few of the flowers, or the leaves. And then I did it on this cascade of leaves that comes down here. And then out of the ephemera pieces, I have taken this, I've backed it on some cardstock, I've inked around the edges, and it's gonna go right down here. Now on my panels that come next, I had two leftover pieces that I wanted to utilize. I like to try to create a flow, but I was not going to let these go to waste. So I have cut them to fit in here, and I will give you the measurements of the cardstock in just a minute. So then, when you turn these over, I've used this 12 by 12 to fit into the front of the panels. And then from my scraps, there was this piece. It has some green on it. I think it came from the teal floral piece that I've used here as my base. But I've trimmed it down so that I could make a pocket. And now I've got myself kind of backwards here. So that's the arch. Oh, I have this turned backwards. That's why it's kind of giving me some brain matter issues there. Okay, so then I created two matching pockets here, and I feel that they kind of blend. I might find something in the ephemera that I haven't used, or the chipboard pieces to kind of brighten this up yet. Haven't decided yet. So then on the big left side panel piece, I have taken this sheet. This was a piece, one piece. So I've cut this and this to flank each side of the opening. But in my scraps, I had a duplicate piece of this compass with this beautiful emerald piece, and I thought I would just make a pocket out of over here so that it would look like here on the left-hand side that it was still a part of the main piece. Okay, and then when you close this piece here, where it says Magic Spells, is a part of this 12 by 12 sheet. I cut this out to put here because of what I was doing on the front of the album. And here I've gotten into another one of my crazy cuts. She is gorgeous, but I wanted her to have more of a presence on a page, and so what I've done very carefully is I have, hold on here just a second. Well, let me finish. I have very carefully cut along her outline, but to get there, I had to trim the paper so that I was about 3/8 of an inch from this right side shoulder and then about an inch off of this left side. The top and the bottom pieces, I took 1 3/8 off both the bottom and off the top so that I could get that squared up in this image. And then when you turn this page, this is another continuation of the waterfall, the lake, and then the saying of magic spells. And then the chipboard piece, the magic is in you, is going to go right there on that top. So if we can get back inside of this, and I'm going to try and be careful and turn these things over so that they're in the order in which I want them to be. And then that one goes over there, and then these go over here. All right, so let's go ahead and get this bottom pocket done. That wink Estella, it's very subtle. You don't really even notice it's on there until you tilt the page, but it sure does add a nice little element to it, and it kind of picked up this glittery element on these ephemera pieces. And of course I have rounded my corners, and I've inked all my edges, and then I used the wink Estella here. I didn't do it in here, it would be a waste of the ink because I'm putting this in here. Okay, we're going to glue this in here. And then I'm just going to tape this in. If it can be utilized as a tuck if I want to do that. See, and you can come in here and tuck in behind it, and you have all this beautiful room for your photos. All right, now we're going to get into the cutting and the measurements of the cardstock. So again, 9.5 in the height. That's not changed. This is going to measure at 6 3/8 across, and then you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, and then you're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on here. Coming right up to that 1/2 inch score line. And then I want to push back against that 5/8 score and re-encourage it to do what it was in its intended purpose, and that's to create a gusset. Now, carefully separating these. This side, your right side, should be about the same. 6 3/8, scoring it at a 1/2 inch, and then scoring it at 5/8 of an inch. And I am making these to accommodate these two leftover pieces. They were about the same size. I had to trim one down just a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna push back on the 5/8 score. Encourage it to do its thing. And then these two will go in here. Yeah, these two will go in here. I'm counting my pieces of paper at this point to make sure that I'm going to have enough. I've got a couple more signatures to go. Kind of getting glue all over the place here. All right, now that's going to close up. Now on this side, we're going to now put in these pieces here. Now, in all honesty, I don't know if I've got these right side up or not. I don't recognize the lettering, so I don't know. I don't even know if it's saying anything or if it's just more of an alphabet, but I'm going to stay with the images on the top and the images on the bottom on this side. I may have them upside down, but I can live with it if it isn't going the right way. And when I was looking at this paper, when I was cutting it, you know how you look at some designs when you're like, maybe you're ironing a shirt or something, and it just gives you the woo. Well, this was doing that until I took a close look at it. It wasn't me, it's the paper. It's the design, the pattern is off. So it's one of those design features I think they put in that to make it look old. Okay, so now the only thing left to add to these will be these little pockets that are going to go right down here on the end. So if you'll bear with me, I forgot to pre-tape these. So I can get these on here. Roll this tape underneath here. And then I'm going to very carefully put that on. And then I'm going to glue this piece on. Got some new long metal dies I think will be fun to play with on next project. I got a very sweet comment today on my Wizard Academy album that I made here a bit back. She's from the Netherlands, and she lost her mojo and was struggling with inspiration until she came across my album and thanked me so much for posting it, and now she's got her craft back going again and is very excited to get that album made. And I thought that was a very kind thing for her to say, and I am super happy that I gave her some inspiration back. All right, now the next pieces. This piece, which is your right side panel, is going to measure in at 6 inches. No, 5 and 5/8, 6 inches. If you want to keep it easy, I've actually got it in between them, but make it easy on yourself and do one or the other. But on this side, you're going to score it half, and then you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. We need this to stand up and wrap around our gusset that we've just created here. Now I got that a little off kilter when I laid it down, so I'm going to come in here and the easiest way is just to wrap it right around. There we go. And then push back. So that I've got a straight gusset. I do need to do a little bit of corner trimming here with the different score marks, cutting these corners, rounding these corners does not match because one is done at a 1/4 inch gusset, and the other one's done at a 5/8 of an inch gusset. Now, before we put that on and before we deal with the rest of this, we're going to put this on, and I've already got my magnets in place. And don't move it this time, just lay that down there. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to open this up a little bit so I can get in here and really burnish those taped ends. Now I am going to take the tape off of these magnets, and I'm going to make sure my top and my bottom are level and that my gussets are straight. slide this off, and I can take my 2 pieces out of there. All right, so now we're going to put this piece in. I'm going to tape it in so that I can get in there if I have to. And I know I'm repeating myself, but somebody may have just dropped in on this particular video and not understand why I'm doing something. So I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit for you. And I only have a tad bit of tape on holding these down. So I'm going to add a little bit for additional security here. God, I kind of had myself a little bit alarmed there. I didn't recognize the piece. It was upside down. Okay, let's come in here. Whoops. Too far forward. Roll that tape underneath of there. Uh-oh. Oh. I'm going to do it this way. I know I can take the page off and try and turn it upside down and reverse it, but then it weakens the gussets when I do that. But I put down the wrong piece in the wrong spot. That's because I was looking at the left side panel, and I know in my brain what goes there, and this is supposed to be the matching piece, so I thought it was supposed to go down here. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of surgery here. Bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to leave the tape on here, so the reverse side's going to be taped instead of glued. This tape will get its adhesive tackiness back here in just a second. It's this piece that is supposed to go right here. Goodness sakes. All I can say is I'm human. I make boo-boos. And I think it would be the rare crafter out there that's never put on a piece of paper upside down, backwards, in the wrong spot. And my center tape is still there, so I'm not going to worry about it. My tape over the magnets are still there, so now I'm just going to come back in here. These white ends kind of throw me off balance a little bit too, because I'm trying to square this up when I get in here. So hang tight while I do a little bit of trimming so that I'm not staring at it, that I'm looking at my cardstock. Okay. And I will roll that tape underneath that corner. And do the same here. All right, now let's go ahead and put this piece where it is supposed to be, seeing as how it's all taped and ready to go. Problem with that tape being not quite tacky. See, I'm going too far forward. The page is not, it's curling because I had to get it wet. So I'm not able to really see this going in there squarely. So let's try it this way. I will look at the top. There we go. All right. I'm going to do a little bit of snipping here. I have some tape residue sticking out. There we go. All right, now this piece is going to get taped in, and it needs to be because it's so huge. The glue would be dry before I got around to the opposite side of it. Now, with its hugeness, I'm going to put a couple of strips so I'm going to kind of get this set in here, get a good eyeball, and then I'm going to take that one off, and then I'll come in here and take these off. this in. I try to have these all taped up and ready to go. So I apologize because this just takes up unnecessary time in the video. This is a nice size pocket for this inside panel. So I'm just going to come right up to that score line, not on it, up to it. And then I'm going to glue in Okay, so now we're on the front. And I'm still going to find an element to put on these to kind of brighten them up a little bit. All right, so, don't tear, don't tear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run tape around the edge, and then I'm going to glue here so that this stays down here. I don't want this popping up underneath of the image. I'll use my thumbnail, see if I can't cut a better corner there. And a little dab here on the bottom. Now when I place this on here, I'm going to glue it first, and then I'm going to take the tape off the edge. Oh, I did tear that. Oh boy. Well, I hope it doesn't show. Come up a little bit higher. Okay. Not noticeable. So I'm going to pay attention to all right, now I had no. And then I think I'm going to come in here with just a little bit of glue on these ends. Oh, that's already stuck. Very nice. right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on now. And then I am going to pull all these little tops off these pop-ups. So excuse me while I just slide to my right so I can get this in the garbage can. And then I'll add glue to the black chipboard that I used. Okay, now we're going to glue through here. I'm going to glue here. This chipboard is black chipboard that I got from Graphic 45 quite some time ago. And it's thinner than I'm used to using, but putting two of them together is the perfect height for these pop-ups. Perfect height. Okay, I don't want to have to pull this up, so I want to make sure I am getting her placed back in there correctly. There we go. And now what I'm going to do on the outside of this, now I will find, I don't know if I can find something real quick in the ephemera. I think that would be pretty. Let's see what we have here that we can use. We've got a heart, we have a key. Those two are different images. We have a large key. Oh, that's chipboard. I think I'm going to use the heart on the right side. Just a moment, I dropped an ephemera piece in before I stomp on it. I wanted to get it. So what I'm going to do so that these are accented just a little bit is give them some brown color on most of the image here. Get in here. Doesn't take very long. Okay. And then we're going to have the key here. Darken up the edge a little bit, get rid of that white. Get down in here in the crevice. Put that right there. Close up the ink. Now, what I'm going to do once I get this in the album, because it's going to need to sit and dry, is I'm going to take some glossy accents. She's got a red emerald here on her forehead. I'm going to put some glossy accents there, and I'm going to put a little bit of glossy accent on her eye, and I think I might add it here to these two large pearls, and then I'm going to take some of that Wink of Stella and color up the leaves on the front of her. But I will do that after I get it in the album. I'm just letting you know, so if you want to do the same. Okay, so let's turn it over. Before I do, I want to just look at my corners, make sure that they're as clean as they can be. Now I'll run a couple of strips of 3/8 of an inch down the center to give it some support, the weight of the signature, so that it's not all being supported by the perimeter tape. And then you'll get to watch me do my goofy layering to get the tape removed. Okay. And just so that you know, I am making these pullouts for each one of these. I don't know what I'm hitting in there. Oh, I know what it is. I'm going to have to fix that. It's one of the chipboard elements is in the way. I discovered that here a little bit ago. Okay, I'm going to turn it this way. There, see, I get past it. So that I can see 3 of the 4 sides when I'm laying this in. And I'm going to take this gusset right here, and I'm going to bring it right up to this edge. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm centered top to bottom and that I'm as straight as I can be. Now when I take this strip off, as I've stated in other videos, make sure that your gusset stays straight, that it's not folding in on you. That helps with appearance and it helps with integrity. And now you're gonna have to deal with me doing my digging in here. Now I want to make sure that this end is also standing up straight. I'll get in here and burnish these edges. Give it a good old stern burnish. Okay, now I think I told you early on that I wasn't familiar with how to work with this hidden hinge, and I was very concerned about when the pages come together, if they were going to, I left room here in the end for these to fold into, and I think maybe on a smaller album, I will try to go all the way to the edge. But I wanted to stick with my true tradition of making sure that I had a good gap here, that these aren't going to bunch up in the gusset area. but I think it's going to be okay with what I like to build. So there you go. She's all done. It's in, and then I'll be coming back to finish up the next signature. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.